Welcome to the Herbalicious Alchemy podcast, the show where we explore the transformative powers of essential oils and their incredible ability to heal, inspire, and elevate your life. I'm Susie, a spiritual guide, teacher, and seeker, here to help you deepen your connection with yourself, Mother Earth, and the vast energies of the universe. I'm joined each week by my wonderful co-host, Sally Ann Fisher. Sally Ann is a healer and seeker who shares my passion for blending ancient practices with modern spirituality. Together, we'll guide you through the magical and healing properties of essential oils, uncovering how they can support your personal and spiritual growth, emotional well-being, and connection to the sacred. We'll weave these natural gifts into spiritual practices like tarot, the Akashic records, and the cycles of the moon, helping you align with your higher self and live a life of intention and purpose. In today's fast-paced and often disconnected world, it's more important than ever to ground ourselves in the nurturing power of the earth and embrace the wisdom of the cosmos. This podcast is your sacred space to explore, learn, and transform. One drop of oil, one card, and one lunar phase at a time. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Herbalicious Alchemy podcast. Excited, Sally Ann is here with me again today, and we have some amazing oils, affirmation, and cards to share with you again today. Hi, Sally Ann, how are you?
Hi, Susie. I'm really well, thank you. And I'm looking forward to today's episode very much.
Absolutely. So, do you want to share what oil we're working with today?
Right, yes. So we're working with rosemary essential oil today. Most people have heard of rosemary. Most people have used it. Most people have it growing in their garden, Susie. I don't know if it grows well in Italy where you are, but
It
it really
certainly
grows well in the
does.
UK. It does, yeah.
Yeah.
And I often make a little bed of rosemary and plonk my chicken on it when I'm cooking. And in the winter, I have rosemary and I put it on the radiators and just let out the smell. And of course, I put rosemary in my diffuser. I think it's such an incredible oil. What do you want to say about it before I dive into sort of some of the benefits, Susie?
Definitely. I mean, rosemary is one of those hardy, let's say it's a
Mm,
hardy herb that, like you say, everyone's heard of. You know, we use it in cooking, you can use it in smudge sticks. There are so many different uses for rosemary, but it has some amazing benefits that a lot of people, I guess, probably just don't know.
mhm.
And so we want to share that information with you, as well as mixing it with a card. We want to um, share with you its spiritual benefits, its physical benefits, and its emotional benefits, because it is such a powerful herb, right? It's not just for the kitchen. You can use it in so many different ways. For me, rosemary is the sacred plant of remembrance because it helps us to remember who we are. It helps us to remember our purpose. And I'll go into more details on the spiritual side of things. But it's also really good for intuition, and it's really good for mental clarity as well. So it's a herb that's been used for thousands of years by priestesses, by healers, by seers. And it really holds a deep energetic vibration of awakening your mind to your soul's truth. So, do you want to tell us a little bit about the physical benefits, Sally?
Yes, I will. And I always think that it's a bit of an unsung hero, rosemary as an essential oil. And I think that's because we talk about rosemary all the time. People feel like people know what rosemary is. It's a nice smell, cooking, whatnot. And I think it really is an unsung hero. And the reason I say that, Susie, is that if you look at the list of blends that doTERRA put rosemary into, it's a
Mm.
wide range. They put it into such a wide range. I've actually got them listed here, and I thought I'd go through them if we have time, the different blends. But in a like we've got blends for thinking, which means obviously the mental clarity and the focus. We've got
Mm.
blends for boosting your immune system and protection from the ailments from viruses, bacteria, and things like that. So obviously rosemary does something in that supportive arena, and then you can use it for like headaches and stress and tension, and then you can use it for purifying. So it's in so many incredible blends, and it's also used in some ways as a calming element as well. So not only is it very beneficial from a physical, emotional, mental, spiritual point of view, we know this to be true because the scientists, the very clever scientists, have put the chemistry of rosemary into those other blends. So, what are those different things physically that it can do? So, one of the first things is digestion. Rosemary is incredible for digestion. It helps us to have healthy internal organ function. And then you've got the respiratory benefits, like wow, digestion and respiratory. And you can literally put a little drop in your hands, dilute it, and rub it on your chest. You can breathe it in. It's really good for the hair and the scalp. And what I used to do before doTERRA put rosemary into their shampoo, what I used to do was get my shampoo and I used to add a few drops of rosemary to it and then massage that into my scalp. It's very oxygenating, it's very cleansing. Ticks do not like rosemary. Nits don't like rosemary. So when my children were younger, I used to mix rosemary and lavender and peppermint and clove into a tiny spray bottle, fill it up with
Yeah.
lots of water. So it was really just a spritzer. And every day before we left the house, I was just like spritzing them. We haven't had nits once. Peony and Headley have never had nits, and I think it's because their house smells lovely to a human and smells absolutely disgusting to a nit. Okay, so rosemary can be super helpful on the fingertips and then massaged into the hair half an hour before you have a shower and wash your hair. So that's incredible. It's really good for muscular relaxation, and that's why it's in the sort of blends like the tension blend and things like that. And it's a general vitality. It's general vitality, energizing, reducing fatigue, alertness, and clarity, and those mental properties that you already talked about, Susie. So it's absolutely fantastic oil, and everybody should have some growing in their garden to use it fresh, and they should have some in a bottle that they can use immediately when they need it.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's so powerful, isn't it? And it really helps with memory, concentration, cognitive performance, so many benefits. I didn't know that it could help with digestion. So that's a new one for me. So it's nice, when we do these podcasts that we both learn something as well, because we have our specialities, don't we? So mine, of course, is the more spiritual, and Sally Ann's is more the physical and emotional. So it's nice that I learned something new about the oil today.
Yes, definitely. And we'll go through the different blends later if there's time at the end of the podcast, because we can always do that. In the Facebook group, I'll put down the different oils and the different properties in there. So anybody listening to the podcast, shoot across to the Herbalicious Alchemy Facebook group or join us in any way that you see that's a pin to this podcast, and we'll find the other recipes and the other blends there that rosemary are in.
Yeah, definitely. We will talk a little bit more about the Facebook group because we've created a nice space where not only do we share the podcast, but we share recipes. We come in and do a live question and answer session and share lots more information. You can find the blog on Rosemary or on the essential oils there as well. So it's a great space. So I will put the link on all the podcast episodes so you can come and join us and come and interact with us and learn more about the oils, learn more about the Akashic Records, tarot, the moon, and all the beautiful things that we're talking about.
I love that you've just mentioned the Akashic Records, the Moon, the Tarot, and Oracle. And I'm wondering if you have any of those things to share with us right now, Susie.
I do. Let's first talk about the spiritual benefits of rosemary, because this is going to be very linked. So, rosemary for me is the oil of soul purpose, right? It can really help us to connect into our purpose. It can help us with clarity, right? The clarity that we need to follow our soul purpose. It really acts as an Akashic remembrance. So we can use rosemary to connect into past lives and to connect into the Akashic records. It can open our third eye okay, and strengthen our intuitive clarity. I've got something in my eye and I've got oils all over my hands. Um, it's a beautiful ally for spiritual teachers, writers, the visionaries, and anyone that is really wanting to connect in with their soul's purpose. And it really helps us to connect into our sacred memory. So, the wisdom that our soul already knows. And with that in mind, the oracle card that I have chosen today is purpose and mission, right? Because Rosemary can really help us to connect into that remembrance of what we are here to do. It can connect into our soul purpose of what we are here to do, right? So I thought this was a very fitting card for today.
I think I
Um,
should just mention, Susie, that I am smiling for anybody that can't see us on the listening to the podcast. I am smiling from ear to ear because Susie's using one of her own designed oracle cards for the first time. They arrived just a few days ago. There is going to be a Kickstarter, isn't there, Susie? So people can
there
buy
is.
these beautiful. They are so beautiful, and I'm smiling because that is such a beautiful card, Susie. So maybe you've got time to mention something about your Kickstarter at the end.
Yes, we'll talk more about the Kickstarter. We'll keep it focused on Rosemary
Thanks.
now.
Sorry.
But yeah, definitely, if you are someone that is searching for your purpose, you feel that something is missing, you feel that you're here for more, then working with Rosemary can help you to open up your vision, your third eye, your vision, and your purpose. So highly recommend Rosemary for this work. And of course, you can get into and connect with the Akashic records using Rosemary, right? And I really feel that the Akashic download that's coming through is this is very much a time to connect in with our purpose, right? And the mission that we are here, that our soul is signed up for in this lifetime, right? We are being awoken to follow that, right? So if you're feeling discontentment, if you're feeling stuck, lost, and all of those things, I would suggest, having a look at your life and are you doing something for job, relationship, whatever area that sets your soul on fire, right? That really nourishes your soul. And then if you're not, that's the area that you're stuck in, right? So let's say it's work because that's an easy one to relate to. If you have a soul-sucking job, right, you're not in alignment with the purpose and the mission that you have in this lifetime. So Rosemary can help you to find that. So the Akashic records are coming in and saying, right, it's time, right? It's time for this awakening. We are being awoken. We have so many people have incarnated to wake up at this time to help move us forwards, to help move us into a better world, a new earth. You may have heard all of these phrases. So Rosemary is going to be a great one for you to work with. So the Akashic Records, yeah, the Akashic Records is just reminding you that you are here for something bigger.
Yeah.
So,
I'm just smiling because I like to refer to a book that's called The Essential Emotions, and I was just looking at Rosemary in there, and it echoes everything that you've just said in a slightly different way, but it's literally on point. It says here, Rosemary assists in the development of true knowledge and true intellect. It teaches that one can be instructed from a far greater space of understanding than the human mind. It
mhm,
says you can receive more inspired answers. It's good for people with learning difficulties. It brings expansion to the mind. It helps people to adjust to a new home, a new school, or a new relationship, and to trust in a higher, more intelligent power than themselves, Susie.
perfect. Absolutely perfect. So on the emotions front, is there anything else that you would like to add to that, or do you feel that we've kind of covered that?
I'm just looking. I think we've covered it. It's just, I think that rosemary is a catch-all for lots of different people for whatever it is they need. It's
Mm.
one of those oils where you don't have to think, all right, what do I need today? I want some guidance. I want this. I want that. Which oil shall I use? I think you could just turn to rosemary and ask rosemary to do whatever it is you want it to do, and it will.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's great with anxiety, overwhelm, lack of
Then, yeah,
clarity,
yeah,
all of
definitely.
those things,
All of the
confusion.
above. Yeah. It's
Yeah.
almost like the spiritual king of oils. Like we say frankincense is the king of oils
Mm.
physically. I think that rosemary is almost from a spiritual point of view, from a spiritual development point of view, and for being able to clear your mind and create the conditions in your mind for spiritual progress. I think rosemary is super duper helpful.
Absolutely. I mean, if you haven't got rosemary oil yet, go and pick some rosemary, dry it, and burn it as a sage stick. And that will really help with mental clarity, overwhelm, and all of those different things. So it is a powerful, powerful herb. And it can be used at a few moon phases as well. So really good for new moon, which is on Wednesday the 25th. So we've got new moon in Cancer. And it's good at full moon as well and the waning moon. So the waning moon is when we let go.
Perfect. So nearly all moon phases but one then out of the four major ones.
Well, there's 8 moon phases, but yeah,
Okay.
we're kind of using the whole of the waning. So
Okay.
oblivious the third quarter
So
moon.
you are the guru on moons, and I still haven't got my act together with knowing and understanding them. So thank you for pointing that out.
No problem at all. So this will be live and you can interact with Rosemary on the new moon in Cancer. So I will put a ritual that you can do using Rosemary.
Perfect.
Awesome. So you've got some affirmations for us, Sally?
I do, and I think the rosemary affirmations are great. And I think I'm going to invite anybody who's got rosemary to put a little drop in their hand
I've got some
now
in my
and
hand.
have a little breathe of it. And also, if you don't have rosemary, but it's in the garden, then pause the podcast, go grab your rosemary or steal it from a friend and use that. If you don't have that, then you can just remember the smell of rosemary and it will help you to get there. So we're going to breathe our rosemary and we're going to say, with rosemary's wisdom, I remember who I am and why I am here. My thoughts are focused, clear, and aligned with divine purpose. I trust the guidance that flows through me with ease and insight. I release mental fog and welcome sharp focus and sacred direction.
Perfect.
And each breath with rosemary wakens my intuition and strengthens my memory. My memory wasn't that great just then. Um, I am present and aware and fully connected to my inner knowing.
Fantastic. Can you share those in the Facebook group for
Good
people to
idea. I'll
use?
do that. Yes.
Fabulous. So overall, I think we've both decided that rosemary is a pretty underrated herb and essential oil.
Yeah. And I think I'm gonna put it in my pocket and put it in my handbag this week. And I'm going to overuse it. I'm gonna use it all day long and see what comes to me. And if and it will. And I think we invite everybody, all of our listeners, to do that and
Hmm.
then share in the Facebook group underneath the post about Rosemary what they have had, what insights they've had, what changes, emotional, physical, spiritual, because of their use of rosemary all this week.
Definitely. And if you want to open your third eye, then you can use rosemary on your third eye. Should they dilute it, Sally Ann?
With all the oils, you should really dilute them with just a little drop of fractionated coconut oil. For me personally, rosemary doesn't bother my skin, so I put a little bit here. But I do have like a layer of frankincense, and I do have a layer of other oils already on my skin. But usually, yes, we would dilute an essential oil before we put it on our skin, especially on our face.
Absolutely. I mean, just one of these little roller bottles. Um,
Yes, a
Pretty
roller
good.
bottle. That's a 10 ml roller bottle. I
Yeah.
would say just 4 to 6 drops of rosemary diluted in a 10 ml roller bottle with fractionated coconut oil. So the concentration is really small, but because these are so potent, if you can smell it in the oil, it's going to give you the benefit. So you can really, even 1 drop for a teething baby, for example, 1 drop of frankincense, 1 drop of lavender in a 10 ml roller bottle is enough to stop a baby with teething
Mm.
problems. So they're very powerful and potent, and just a few drops diluted will have all the benefits, and then your bottle lasts for forever, really.
It does, yeah, absolutely. I mean, I make up these 10 ml roller bottles for all sorts of things. So this particular one is my temple oil, which is what I use when I'm recording, when I'm creating something, when I'm doing ritual spells, all of the things, because it's got some really, really potent oils in it, like frankincense, to raise my vibration, raise the vibration of my room, and to raise the vibration of my equipment, let's say. So, the computer and all of those things. So the recipe for this is on YouTube. So that's an oil that I use like every day, but I've got ones for my feet for different things. Like, they're great to make, aren't they?
They are. Shall I just quickly mention then the four blends that doTERRA use rosemary in, which I think are fabulous
Yeah.
blends. Okay, so we've got the On Guard blend, which is the immunity boosting blend, very protective blend. It
Hmm.
smells like Christmas. It's Christmas in
Yeah.
a bottle, and there's good reason. When we're trying to preserve cakes with antioxidants, and we don't think of it as that way, but we put ginger and cinnamon and clove and all these beautiful oils in our cakes. And this is why On Guard smells like that blend. So it's very good for immunity support. It's good for purifying, cleansing, respiratory support. And then you've got Thinker Blend, and Thinker Blend is for mental clarity, for focus. It's got really lovely oils in like clementine and peppermint and vetiver and then the rosemary, and it's very grounding. It's very good for children who are overstimulated or overthinking. It can calm them down and then allow them to focus on the task. My son has one in his bag at school, for example. And if he's doing exams, he's always wearing it. He's always putting it on his temples, on
Mm.
his he's smelling it like this. Past tense is the tension blend, and you put it on the backs of your shoulders and on the back of your neck, especially if you've been at a computer all day long and you come home
Mm.
and you just feel like this tension. And it's a rollerball. It's got lavender, it's got peppermint, it's got copaiba, which we know is great for pain. It's got Roman chamomile, marjoram, another great one for pain. All of those help to relax the muscles and bring circulation into the muscles. So it's very,
Wow.
very healing. And the purifying cleansing blend, there's an oil
Wow.
called Purify, and
Yep.
you can put it, I put it in the Hoover. So I switch the Hoover on, and when the Hoover's sucking, I just drip a few drips into the end of the Hoover. It gets sucked into the Hoover, and then this beautiful smell comes out of the other end of the Hoover.
Wow.
And you can put it in the bottom of a bin. Like the black bins outside, they get quite stinky. Just put them
Yeah.
in the bottom, and any internal bins, put them in. Nappy bins, put the little few drops in, and it just purifies it. It just takes that smell away. And if you're going out for the day, sometimes I'll go into a room, I'll get to the purifier and a diffuser, and I'll shut all the doors and windows and I'll get it going. And I basically fumigate with
Yeah.
Purify. And you do that like maybe once every 6 months, and the rooms just smell really fresh and clean.
Definitely. I have Purify over by my diffuser because that's the first thing I was going to say light, but that's not the right word. First thing I like diffuse in the morning.
Light was the right word. Susie, light was exactly the right word because purified blend, from a spiritual and emotional point of view, it clears energetic fog.
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
And energetic fog and light, you were reading the energy of it.
Yeah.
Yeah, energetic fog, I would say, was light. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely. So to clear any, residue energy,
Yeah.
try is the first thing that I put on in here.
Especially if you've welcomed a group of individuals into the home that aren't necessarily friends. They might be friends, but maybe a group of people that you're hosting, a networking group, or just a group of
Yeah.
friends. To use Purify afterwards to purify the energy back to your own home's energy is
Yeah.
really useful.
Yeah, absolutely. And especially for working environment as well. So we have gone slightly off rosemary, but
We
rosemary
have.
in here.
That's probably because we used rosemary before we started.
Yeah, absolutely. So do let us know if you use rosemary, how you use rosemary. And don't forget, you can use it in your cooking as well.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah, because it's food safe.
Yes, it is. And for cooking, it's best to add essential oils at the end of cooking, just before you serve, so the temperatures come a little bit low. Otherwise, it doesn't destroy the oil, but some of the beneficial chemistry flashes off, and that's where you
Yeah.
go, oh, it smells nice, but you've just flashed off some of the beneficial chemistry. But if you were to have like if you're doing roast potatoes and
Mm,
chicken and like a gravy, you might add a little drop. But when we say a drop, we don't mean a drop. Actually, what we mean is a cocktail stick that you dip into the end of the oil and then just swirl that in. You'll find
yeah,
that's enough. We're talking like a fraction of a drop.
yeah.
You can always add a bit more, but you can't take it away.
Yeah, absolutely. You don't want to overpower things. I have to say in Italy, they use rosemary a lot.
Mm.
It's in everything. Everything. Steak and rosemary, rosemary on focaccia. They put it on everything. So I feel that they use it for the digestive side of things.
Yes. Yeah.
Definitely. Awesome. What an awesome podcast.
It has. Have you got time to just show us a few more of your cards, maybe, Susie?
Yeah,
Or talk about your deck
absolutely.
for those that are listening?
Okay, so it is the Akashic Alchemy Oracle. It's 58 cards, so I won't show you all 58 cards. It has a beautiful guidebook with it that gives you lots of information on the deck, card spreads, and all of those kind of things. And what I've done is put the actual card in the description, so you don't have to keep referring. You can just look at one thing. So the guidebook is awesome. So this is the deck. So we have signs, vows of poverty. So this is an Akashic deck. So it really links into the blocks and the things that have been holding us back that perhaps don't make sense in this lifetime because they come from past lifetime. They come down through our ancestors, down through our DNA, and they can really give insights into what's going on. So you could be going through an ascension, or there's ancestral blocks that are
It's one
blocking.
of my favorite ones, that one, Susie. And what I love about the Kickstarter is that the price of the decks at the moment, you've got one pack, haven't you, that you've had printed
Yeah,
off at great expense. And
yeah,
now you've worked out what the price would be if you were to get this up and running.
yeah,
And I think the price that people are going to pay in the Kickstarter to buy a pack is going to be the same price as when it eventually gets published. But you're giving away loads of extra content with the
yeah,
Kickstarter. So you can be one of the first people to get this deck, can't
yeah,
they? They're
yeah.
buying it at the same price as it would be anyway, but with all this
Mhm.
additional extra stuff, including some of the options to get readings with you at a super discounted price because it's coming free with the option
Yeah,
that they choose, and signed decks and all that sort of stuff. I think it's magical, Susie. So make sure, I think the Kickstarter goes live on about the 25th, 26th of June.
that's right.
So
Yeah.
find the link, look for it, you'll find it somewhere. If you watch this podcast, you better find it, and get your card deck as part of Kickstarter because of the extra benefits. I'm super excited for it, Susie.
Yes, me too. Me too. So there are videos that go through the deck. There will be one on YouTube at the beginning of the week, but you can find them on my Facebook group and on TikTok. I'm doing daily readings as well using these cards. So do come and find me there. So I think that just wraps up this week.
Yes. Yeah.
Fantastic. So do let us know in the comments how you're enjoying the podcast, if there's anything you'd like us to talk about, and come and join us on a Tuesday live in the group where we're going to be doing some question and answer sessions, some card pulls, and all the things.
Yeah, it's exciting. I'm really enjoying this new format, Susie.
Yeah, me too. Me too. So thank you so much for watching, and we will see you again
At the next
at the
podcast,
next
when
podcast.
we're discussing, is it lavender next time?
I think it might be lavender. Yeah.
Yeah, it's another really great oil. So
Yeah,
double
yeah,
treat. Do some binge listening.
definitely, definitely. So we may see you in the group as well. Fantastic. Have an amazing week.
Bye.